Dr. Marcus Chen had seen countless patients during his 15 years practicing medicine across the galaxy, but nothing prepared him for the sight of Lyra as they wheeled her into the emergency bay of the orbital medical station. Multiple system failures, the Valorian medic reported, his antennae drooping with defeat. We've done everything we can. The cascade is irreversible. I'm sorry, doctor, but she's beyond saving. Marcus studied the monitors displaying the young woman's vitals. She was Aetheran, her skin a deep navy blue that had faded to an ashen gray, her naturally blonde hair matted with sweat. Her species was known for their resilience, their triple cardiovascular system making them nearly impossible to kill under normal circumstances. Whatever had happened to her was far from normal. "What caused this?" Marcus asked, his fingers already moving across the holographic interface, pulling up her medical history. "Crethian fever," the medic said quietly. She contracted it 3 weeks ago on a relief mission to Sector 9. By the time she exhibited symptoms, the infection had already compromised her primary heart. Standard protocols failed. The antivirals we used triggered an immune response that attacked her other two hearts. Now all three are failing, her lungs are filling with fluid, and her kidneys have shut down completely. Marcus looked at the young woman's face. Even in her deteriorated state, she was beautiful. High cheekbones, full lips now tinged with blue from oxygen deprivation, and eyes that flickered open occasionally, revealing irises the color of liquid gold. According to her file, she was 28 standard years old, a humanitarian worker who had dedicated her life to helping refugees across the outer colonies. "How long does she have?" Marcus asked. "Hours, maybe less. We've contacted her family, but they're 3 systems away. They won't make it in time." The Valorian medic placed a sympathetic hand on Marcus's shoulder. "I know your reputation, doctor. I know humans have a saying about never giving up. But sometimes, the kindest thing we can do is make them comfortable." Marcus watched Lyra's chest rise and fall in shallow, labored breaths. Every instinct in his body screamed at him to fight, to find a solution, to refuse to accept the inevitable. It was the same stubborn determination that had made him legendary among the medical community, the same trait that had gotten him censured more than once for unorthodox treatments. "Leave us," he said quietly. "Dr. Chen?" I said, "Leave us. I'll call if I need assistance." The Valorian hesitated, then nodded and left the room. Marcus was alone with his dying patient. He pulled up a chair beside her bed and took her hand. It was cold, her normally vibrant blue skin dull and lifeless. "Lyra," he said softly, "my name is Dr. Marcus Chen. I'm going to be honest with you. Everyone has given up on you. They say you're beyond saving. They say the best we can do is keep you comfortable until the end." Her golden eyes opened, focusing on him with surprising clarity. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. "Don't try to talk," Marcus said. "Just listen. I've spent my entire career being told what's impossible. I've been told that humans are too fragile for deep space medicine, that our emotional attachments make us unsuitable for triage situations, that our refusal to accept death makes us dangerous. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm about to waste the last hours of your life chasing a miracle that doesn't exist." He leaned closer, his voice intense. "But I've also seen impossible things become possible. I've seen patients wake up from irreversible comas. I've seen diseases that should have killed vanish overnight. I've seen the human body and alien bodies, do things that defy every medical text ever written. So here's what I'm offering you. I can make you comfortable, give you something to ease the pain, let you drift away peacefully. Or I can fight for you with everything I have, even if the odds are astronomical, even if every other doctor in this station thinks I'm insane. A tear rolled down Lyra's cheek, leaving a glistening trail on her ashen skin. Her fingers, weak as they were, tightened slightly around his. "Fight," she whispered, the single word barely audible. Marcus felt something shift in his chest, a sensation he hadn't experienced in years. It wasn't just professional determination. It was something deeper, more personal. He found himself memorizing the exact shade of her eyes, the curve of her cheekbone, the way her blonde hair fell across the pillow. "Then we fight," he said. The next 6 hours were a blur of desperate innovation. Marcus started by stabilizing her breathing, using a controversial technique he developed treating human patients with ARDS. He bypassed standard Etherin protocols entirely, instead treating each of her 3 hearts as if they were separate organs in 3 different patients. It was medically unsound, potentially dangerous, and completely against established procedure. It worked. Her primary heart responded first, its rhythm strengthening as he flooded it with a combination of human cardiac medications and Etherin neural stimulants at doses that made the automated safety systems scream warnings at him. He overrode every alert, trusting his instincts over the computer's calculations. Her secondary heart proved more stubborn. Marcus sat beside her for an hour, manually adjusting the drug cocktail every few minutes, watching the monitors with an intensity that made his eyes burn. He talked to her the entire time, telling her about his childhood on Earth, about his first year in medical school, about the time he'd saved a Krillian child everyone said was brain dead. "You're not allowed to die on me, Lyra," he said at one point, his voice rough with exhaustion. "I just met you. I don't even know your favorite color yet, or what you like for breakfast, or if Etherans even eat breakfast. There's too much I don't know about you, and I'll be damned if I let you go before I find out." Her eyes opened again, and this time there was a hint of their natural brilliance. "Orange," she whispered. "Favorite color, orange." Marcus felt his heart skip. "Orange, good to know. What else?" "Sunrise, over water, music, classical Terran, sweet things, for breakfast." Each word was an effort, but she kept going, kept fighting. "Classical Terran music, you have excellent taste," Marcus said, adjusting her IV flow. "I'll play some for you when you're better, Beethoven maybe, or do you prefer something lighter? Anything, you choose." Her tertiary heart was the final challenge. By hour 5, Marcus had tried every conventional and unconventional treatment he could think of. Nothing worked. The heart was simply too damaged, the tissue too far gone. He sat back in his chair, running his hands through his hair in frustration. That's when he noticed it, a small anomaly in her blood work that he'd dismissed earlier. Etherin blood carried trace amounts of a mineral compound that human blood didn't have. In healthy Etherins, this compound helped with oxygen distribution. In Lyra's case, the fever had oxidized it, turning it toxic. It was a long shot, but Marcus had built his career on long shots. He synthesized a chelating agent designed to bind with the toxic compound and flush it from her system. The procedure was risky. If he removed too much, her blood wouldn't be able to carry oxygen efficiently. Too little and the toxicity would continue damaging her organs. He had to get it exactly right. Marcus worked with microscopic precision, monitoring her blood chemistry minute by minute. He didn't eat, didn't sleep, barely blinked. Somewhere around hour 7, the medical station's chief of staff came in to check on him. "Chen, you need to rest. You've been at this for—" "Not now," Marcus said without looking away from his work. "The patient's family has been notified. They're requesting to speak with you about end-of-life arrangements. She's not dying. Marcus, be reasonable. The odds. Get out." His voice was quiet but carried an edge that made the chief of staff step back. "Get out, or I'll have security remove you. This is my patient, my responsibility, and my choice. Now leave." The door hissed shut, leaving Marcus alone with Lyra again. "Sorry about that," he murmured, adjusting the chelation rate by 0.03%. "Where was I? Oh, right, I was telling you about my sister's wedding. So the cake was this enormous thing, 5 tiers covered in flowers." He kept talking, keeping her conscious, keeping her fighting. And slowly, impossibly, her tertiary heart began to respond. By hour 10, all 3 hearts were beating in synchronized rhythm. By hour 12, her kidney function had returned to 40%. By hour 15, she was breathing on her own. Marcus finally allowed himself to sit back, his entire body trembling with exhaustion. Lyra was sleeping peacefully now, her skin regaining its vibrant navy blue color, her blonde hair shining in the soft light of the medical bay. He should have reported to the chief of staff. He should have documented everything, written up his procedures, contacted her family. Instead, he stayed in his chair, holding her hand, watching her sleep. When her eyes opened 3 hours later, fully alert and aware, the first thing she saw was his face. "You're still here," she said, her voice stronger now. "Where else would I be?" Marcus replied, unable to stop himself from smiling. "Most doctors would have." She paused, seeming to search for words. "Thank you doesn't seem adequate." "You can thank me by telling me more about yourself. I feel like I know some things. You like orange, classical music, sweet breakfasts, but there's a lot of gaps." Lyra laughed, the sound like wind chimes. "You want to know about me? Why?" Marcus realized he was still holding her hand. He should let go. It was unprofessional. Instead, his thumb traced small circles on her palm. "Because I spent the last 18 hours fighting for your life, and somewhere in the middle of all that, I realized I didn't want to lose you for reasons that had nothing to do with medicine." Her golden eyes widened. "That's highly irregular. I'm aware. I can request that another doctor take over your care if it makes you uncomfortable." "No," she said quickly. "No, I'd like you to stay if that's allowed." "It's probably not," Marcus admitted. "But I've never been very good at following the rules." Over the next 2 weeks, as Lyra recovered, they talked. Marcus learned that she had grown up on Ethera Prime, the oldest of 6 children. She'd always wanted to help people, had studied xenobiology and cultural anthropology before joining the humanitarian corps. She loved old Earth movies, especially romantic comedies, which she found hilariously absurd and utterly charming. Lyra learned that Marcus had become a doctor because his mother had died from a preventable illness when he was 12, a tragedy that had instilled in him an absolute refusal to accept death as inevitable. He was terrible at cooking, obsessive about his work, and had a secret weakness for terrible puns. They discovered they both loved thunderstorms, hated bureaucracy, and believed that the universe was fundamentally kind, even when it seemed cruel. "Can I tell you something?" Lyra asked one evening as Marcus was checking her vitals. She was well enough to sit up now, well enough to walk short distances. Anything. When I was dying, when everyone had given up, I heard you. I heard you tell me you were going to fight for me. And I remember thinking, this human doesn't even know me. Why would he care? She looked up at him, her golden eyes bright. I still don't fully understand why you cared so much. Marcus set down his medical tablet and sat on the edge of her bed. I could give you a dozen professional reasons. I could talk about the Hippocratic Oath, about my duty as a physician, about the challenge of a difficult case. But the truth, he took her hand again, a gesture that had become natural between them. The truth is that the moment I saw you, something in me knew I couldn't let you go. Maybe it was fate, maybe it was instinct, maybe I'm just a romantic fool. But I'm glad I listened to whatever it was. I'm glad too, Lyra said softly. Though I should warn you, my family is going to want to meet the doctor who saved my life, and Etheran families are intense. I think I can handle intense, Marcus said with a grin. Also, there's a tradition on my world. When someone saves your life, you're bonded to them, not legally, but culturally. It's considered a sacred connection. What does that mean exactly? Lyra's blue skin darkened slightly, a blush. It means you're stuck with me, Dr. Chen, for better or worse. Marcus felt that shift in his chest again, that sensation that had started the moment he decided to fight for her. Only now he recognized it for what it was. Lyra, he said carefully, I need to be honest with you, what I'm feeling. It's not just professional respect or the satisfaction of saving a patient. I think I'm falling in love with you. And I know that's completely inappropriate given the circumstances, and I know we've only known each other for 2 weeks, and I know. She kissed him, cutting off his rambling explanation. When she pulled back, she was smiling. For someone so brilliant, you can be remarkably slow sometimes. I've been waiting for you to figure it out. Oh, Marcus said, slightly dazed. That's good. Very good, Lyra confirmed. Though we should probably discuss the practical implications. I'm still working for the Humanitarian Corps, which means I'll be traveling to disaster zones. You're stationed here. Long-distance relationships are difficult. Then I'll request a transfer, Marcus said immediately. The Corps needs doctors, right? I could. Are you sure? You have a life here, a career. Lyra, I spent 18 hours refusing to let you die because the thought of a universe without you in it was unbearable. I'm not going to let something as trivial as logistics keep us apart now. She laughed, tears streaming down her face. Humans really are as stubborn as everyone says. Especially this one, Marcus agreed, pulling her close. They said you were beyond saving. They were wrong about that. I'm betting they're wrong about us too. 4 months later, Dr. Marcus Chen joined the Humanitarian Corps as their chief medical officer. 6 months after that, he and Lyra were married in a ceremony that blended Etheran and human traditions, attended by family, friends, and a handful of medical staff who swore they'd known all along how this would end. And when people asked Marcus about the day he met his wife, he always told the same story. About a woman everyone said was beyond saving, about refusing to accept the impossible, and about how sometimes the heart knows what the mind hasn't figured out yet. After all, he'd built his career on proving the impossible was possible. Falling in love with Lyra was just the best impossible thing he'd ever achieved.